Sylvia Nica, and I'm a senior at Cincinnati Country Day School. Today I will be reading an excerpt of my short story, Where the Sky Meets the Sea. But before I did so, I just wanted to talk briefly about why overtures was important to me. Art, and especially writing, can be a really lonely craft. Oftentimes, it's not like sports where you have a community of athletes. Oftentimes, artists and writers are scattered around the city or around the nation or around the globe. And so what was really special about Overtures was having that community of writers, that community of artists right there where you could talk to them. And being around other writers, that such talented writers, was incredible, and it was so supportive, and I still keep in touch with them, which I think is something very special that Overture has helped me do. And it's just really nice having a community of artists to exchange stories with or get advice from. So I have to thank Overtures for that, and for also giving me the confidence to support my art. I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit hard, getting rejection after rejection, but getting such incredible feedback and being recognized and then having these incredible artists to motivate me was really special. And so these programs are important, and I want to say thank you to Overtures for that. Now I'm going to read an excerpt from my short story, Where the Sky Meets the Sea. Sky was 7. She had a crisp white bed and pink shoes and didn't like to swim. She had a window to the sea and loved the blue rolling past, but she didn't like the waves. But she loved fish. She lived on a petite island in the middle of the ocean with her father, and the ocean terrified her. For Sky, it was a life of contradictions, but at that age, contradictions were meaningless. In Sky's young, fresh mind, the ocean was a blue, swirling mass, torrents of breath escaping its nostrils. It lunged against their sharp coast, licking their house and howling when angry. Every year the ocean crept farther up the cliffs, and each year, her fingers shaking, Sky stretched less to feel its crests. When sleeping, Sky dreamed of slate waves, and she woke up screaming. The sting of salty air never soothed her. Few people lived on their island. There was one grocery and a fish market. There used to be a boat tour, but its doors had shuttered and the paint peeled. For Sky, the town was quiet except for the sea's murmuring. But she was 7, and at 7 it was hard to feel lonely. Sky lived with her father, Caleb. At 18, Caleb had taken 1-year-old Sky and her battered purple suitcase and had moved to the island from Kansas. Until the age of 19, he'd never seen blue sea, only golden waves of corn. He moved to the coast with an old truck that, from the wind's kiss, broke down. So they boarded a ship to the island and never left its shores. Sky had loved the sea in their first years on the island. In those days, the sea hadn't stretched to the edges of the cliffs. It didn't howl and crash at their door. It had been golden and soft, and white beaches straddled the island. In the pockets of turquoise, mangroves flourished. Sky had gone with her father and picked smooth pebbles, and she loved the minnows, had squealed when darts of silver slid past her toes. In those days, her laughter bubbled with the sea, and the sea laughed with her. But each year the sea brought more bleached coral, more waves, and eventually the sea reclaimed the beach. But sometimes, spread with blushes of pink, the ocean softened. Sky's father wandered on the sand when the tide was low, real low, and imagined the waves sinking back to reveal smooth ribbons of gold. So this piece is a kind of an exploration into a new genre that I'm trying out called eco-literature. And the reason that I'm stemming into this new, genre is because I feel like there's a bit of an emotional disconnect when it comes to talking about climate change. People say, oh, the sea level is rising 10 feet, the oceans are warming by a degree, there's 100 football fields of forest disappearing every day, the Louisiana coastline is disappearing, but I feel like oftentimes with these numbers and with these statistics, while incredibly useful, they don't really capture the humanity. I feel like stories can be used to capture that humanity and bridge the emotional disconnect, because climate change is extremely human, and I think sometimes we forget how much it can affect us and our sisters and brothers, our kids. So I think it's kind of a writer's job to help bridge that emotional disconnect, and why I've decided to read an excerpt from my short story, Where the Sky Meets the Sea. Thank you.